Hello everyone. Hello. Good morning. Am I audible to everyone? Please tell me, am I audible? Good morning, good afternoon. Everything, am I audible? Okay, that's great. That's great. Great then. Let's start from where we left yesterday. Fine. So people remember this thing, right? This small project that we were creating, a superhero management system in which I was able to add superheroes. There was a feature we created to search superheroes, and there is a feature for deleting them, right? So today's first half task is to make a update functionalities for our superhero. So we can click on update, and we can update them. We can update its name, its age, its planet, or its height, anything. We can update anything. And we also will learn how to create pop-ups in JavaScript. So might have seen, right? Whenever we click on something, or it is sometimes time-based, so it comes up, then you do something and you can close it from somewhere, right? So we do that pop-up. We are going to do that pop-up thing, and yeah, Deepak, yeah, I'm also going to show you how to use only JavaScript and your browser to store your data permanently. So we're going to see that. So we are going to store our superheroes permanently so that after refresh, they don't go anywhere. Yes, Maria, I'll suggest you that only. So if you like, you can continue. You can check out the new things that we are going to learn today. So, but the best thing would be, because we are continuing yesterday's project, so just go there, watch that whole session, and come back here. It will be like really great then. Because there are a few things that you would not understand because we have already created all these things yesterday. Okay, cool. Fine. Let's start then. So let's first, and I also explained you people that I'm going to tell you today about the event object, right? So let's first understand that. Like simply we'll just understand that, like what is the event object and why I used it yesterday. So I'll create a new file just to make you understand that. So if I used it again, that you should understand about it, right? So let's do it. So I'll create one more HTML file here. So I'll just name it, let's say, example.html. Actually, if time permits, I'll teach you a little canvas. Yeah, I'll teach you a little canvas. If we get time, I'll definitely teach you a little. I want to like touch that topic so that if like in future you can like just go on and learn it. No, it should working by class. There might be some mistake. You can just post your code on the community maybe, and I can see it there and I can answer it to people. So there might be some mistake because it again works with classes IDs as well. So it works with everything. So there might be some little mistake. So we can check it out actually. Just post your code if possible on the community and I'll check. I'll check and answer. Yep, Ganesh, yeah. It should work for both actually. It's not a mistake. But there might be something that you have done. Yeah, there might be some sort of small mistake. If you like, you can just check your code once properly and you can see, or else you post the code, we'll check. I'll check. Don't worry about it. Fine. So I'm going to explain you the event object today first, but I'll just take that 5 minutes, 10 minutes to make you understand everything. So let's get a basic HTML first, a basic HTML. I hope everyone can see my screen, right? My screen is visible, right? Let's name it events. Very simple object that is available with every event we perform. I'll just link my script first. Then, oh, I just rename it first. Wait. So src sample.js, right? So my files are linked up. So I was explaining about the event object, right? So let's first create a function and try to call it on a button. Just create a function and try to call it. I'm going to show you what is in that object. So even I don't know like what are all the things in the object because there are thousands of things in that. But let's say whatever we know, I'll explain you. So let's just create a function. Function do something, right? And it does basically print something on the console. That's all. A very really basic function. So let's make it. There's a function named do something which just print a hello on the console, and let's create a button for it. Let's create a button to call it. So button, and then on click. So I'll say button on click. And the function name was do something, right? So very simple button which just calls do something function on click, and let's check it out if it is working. Let's just check it. Copy the path, go inside your browser, paste it. While it's running, there is a button you can see. I'll just zoom it a little bit. So there's a button you can see. Right? In JS file, it's did I do a spelling mistake? Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Geetika. Okay, save it, right? Inspect your page so that we can see the console properly. I hope you people can also see my console. So I'll just refresh it now, right? I can just refresh it and just click. And you can see a very simple hello, right? So as I said yesterday that every function you perform, every event you perform has an event object associated with it. Just think it like this. Every event you perform, like it can be on click, it can be on double click, it can be on drag, on drop, on hover. Every kind of event you perform, it always has an event object associated with it. It's up to you whether you want to use it or not. If I say like there is a concept of swings and AWT in Java where you can perform events. So there is always an event object passed with every function that you create. So like in that place, the event object is mandatory. In JavaScript, it's up to you. So there is an event object associated with your event. If you want to use it, you can use it. If you don't want to use it, it's not a problem. So right now I'm not using it, right? Right now I'm not using it. There's a very normal function and I'm just calling it on the button. But let's say if I want to use that event object, if I there are some features in the event object that I want to use. So it's really simple. The event object associated with it is like named like only event. So it is just event, that's all. Remember this, whenever you want to use the event object, it should always be the first argument of your function. It should always be the first. It should not be second or third. If you want to pass anything else, so just apply comma and pass it on second and third argument. But event should always be your first argument. You should remember this. Event should always be like if it is something else like A or B or C, it is a normal parameter. But if you are passing event, it should always be your first. And it should be named like this only, event, that's all. There's no other name to it if you're passing it up as an argument. Is it clear? Are we clear on how to pass the event object? The name should be event and it should always be the first argument. Is that clear, everyone? Are we clear about the name? Everyone, are we clear? Very simple, right? Okay, great. Now, if it is the first argument, that means basically if I'm passing an argument in a function, I also need a parameter to handle it. I also need a parameter to save it. So here I just explained what exactly is event. Event is an inbuilt object associated with every function you call. Listen, Sion, please. Event is an inbuilt object associated with every function call, associated with every event you perform, on click, on double click. So basically I'm performing an on click here, right? I'm performing an on click. So I'm saying it is an inbuilt object which is always available. If you want it, if you don't want it, you just remove it. If you want to use it in some way, you can just pass it like this. So I said the name should be always event, right? The name should always be event and it should always be the first parameter, right? So now it is a first parameter. So like if it is the first argument, I need a parameter for it, right? Yeah, it is a parameter only. Yeah. So now, like in JavaScript, you have to pass it as a argument and then you have to handle it with a parameter, right? So if you pass any argument in a function, you always need a parameter for it, right? So now I have to create a variable to take that event object. So I can create anything. I can create E, I can create F, I can create A, B, C. Doesn't matter. Now what will happen? This AB is the first parameter, right? So the event object is the first argument. This event object will come inside and get stored in AB. That's how it works. But just for naming conventions, I never name it A or ABC or anything else. I name it either E or event. So it makes it easy for me. So I have settled my mind like this. I always have to name event as event only wherever I'm using it. It's not a problem. So I don't get confused anytime. I always name it event. That makes it easy for me. And I don't name any other variable or constant as an event. Only event is as used as event. That's all. Is that clear, everyone? So you can either name it E or anything, but I just name it event for my convenience, right? And now let's just print this object and see what it has. Okay, is it clear till now? Understood the event object? Understood how to pass it? Yes, Garvit, you can submit your assignment. Not a problem at all. Is it clear how to pass it? Everyone? Are we cleared on this? Right? Yes. Now let's do one thing. Let's check what are the, I have console.logged it. Matlab, I'm just printing it on my console, right? Meaning I'm just printing it on my console. So I'm going to see what are the things available in this particular object. So now let's just click on the button and see. My event object will be printed on the console, right? So you can see right now the event that I'm performing is a mouse event. The event that I'm performing, the name of the event changes depending on what event are you performing. So if it is a click event, it will be a click event. If it's a key event, it will be a key up event. If it is a mouse event, it will be a mouse event, right? So let's just open this object and see what are the things, right? So you can see it now. You have all these properties: alt key, bubbles, buttons, cancel bubble, cancelable. You can see the screen position, right? Client X and client Y. Client X, client Y is basically the screen position where your button is present, where the thing is present, where you're performing the event. So wherever I have clicked is basically this is the position. X-axis is 30 and Y-axis is 18. This is the place on the screen that I have clicked to perform this event. So you can see everything here. See, page offset, page X, screen X. So the source element, wherever I have clicked my button, it is a source element. It is showing me that this is the button. Can you see if I just hover on that button, you can see it here. Yeah, it will be a key event then, yes. But for that, you have to associate it. 30px and 18px. Yes, it is 13px and 18px. Yes. It is in pixels. You're right, Ganesh. So you can also see the timestamp. This is basically the time in terms of like timestamp. This is basically the time when you click the button. See, type is click, right? So you have everything, right? See that? So this is what all your event object has, and you can use all these properties. Is it clear? Can you see it here? Default prevented false. It basically means I haven't prevented anything from that button. Whatever the features are, I'm letting it use. But remember, yesterday we did a function called event.preventDefault. So we actually prevented all the default functionalities of the button. So remember, we were submitting a form yesterday, right? So Madhur, I'm explaining. We were submitting a form. Proto is basically you can say the class of this object. The class where it belongs, the object. Proto is basically the class, the blueprint that my event object is following. Yes, you can use event object in any of your functions. That's no problem. You can use event object in any of the functions, but that event is only related to that particular event. You cannot use another function's event object in another function. Don't do that. An event object is related to a particular event that you're performing. So it should be that only. Fine. So if you remember yesterday, we performed event.prevent default. So basically we were submitting a form, and by default the feature of submit was to refresh the page, and we didn't want that. We want like our page to not be refreshed. So what we did, we prevented the default things that like our button was doing. So what we called a function named event.prevent default. So all the default things that our button, that our submit functionality was performing, we prevented everything. Is that clear? That's what we did yesterday. Is that clear? So you can use anything from here. You can use anything from here. It's up to. So there's also a target. You can get whatever you're clicking. So you can get the parent. We are going to use this target today. We're going to use this target. So at what retirement we have to or must use event object? At what retirement, or you mean to say requirement? AK. I didn't understand your retirement thing. I think you're writing, so what requirement? We required it yesterday, right? We wanted to prevent all the whenever you want to prevent the defaults of a functionality, you always have to use event object. And today we are going to use the event object again, because we are going to use this target. So like there are cases where you have to use, like you don't have to use it everywhere. There are specific particular cases, like you want to prevent the defaults of a functionality. You want to get the target of the event. So wherever you click, you want to get the target. So today we are going to use that. Don't worry about it. Is that clear, everyone? I hope the event object is cleared now. Yeah, okay. I understood it. It was a requirement. So I'm going to show you, right? I'm going to show you. There's one requirement where we used it yesterday on the submit button, and I'm going to show you today also. Don't worry about it. But all these things cleared now. Okay, great. So the first thing that I'm going to show you is how to build or create a pop-up, right? So before moving on to our actual assignment where we need a pop-up, but instead of messing it around, I'm just going to show you on a new screen how to create a pop-up first. So if we learn how to create a pop-up, then we can just go back and like apply the pop-up here. Is that clear? So let's see how can one build a pop-up, right? Let's do it. How can we build? So let's try to create a pop-up, right? Fine. So I have a button, right? I have a button. What I want, no, prompt is not a pop-up. Prompt is a pop-up actually, but it is like browser specific pop-up. We can create our own pop-up, like concluding the whole screen or half screen and show anything. In prompt, you cannot show anything, right? In prompt only you can show an input box and you can take the input, right? So I want to like show a lot of things. I want to show products. I want to see a message. So can you please teach how to build login? If we want to build login Garima, then we need some kind of database, right? Okay, login up. Okay, yes, I'm teaching that. I'm only doing that. I'm going to teach that pop-up, or Krishna Kumar is saying model. It's one and the same thing, right? Yeah, model, pop-up, anything you can name it. It's also known as a light box sometimes. Like in previous times, it was known as a light box. So you can say it a model or a pop-up or a light box. Doesn't matter. Fine. Let's do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this button and a pop-up should appear here. That's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to click this button and a pop-up should appear, right? So let's do it. Let's create that pop-up first. Let's create the style for that pop-up first. So I'm going to create a div, okay, div, and let's say I name it model. This is the way Krishna Kumar is saying. I give it a class of model. Div, class of model. I hope everyone has learned some kind of CSS, so I don't have to like mess it. Everyone understands clearly. Style. Thing we learned yesterday, right? Gonna do margin 0 pixels, so that any element by default should have a margin 0 pixels. Is there any difference between event and event? Actually, I didn't like. I have never used that capital E event. You can try it and see. Actually, it's not a tough ask. You can just try that capital E and see if it is still working. So I've never tried it actually, to be very honest. So you can try that capital and you can see if it is working. If it is working, that's totally fine. Meaning the spelling is only important. There's no case in that. There's no case sensitiveness in that. Okay, so adding 0 pixel. Now let's style our model div. Normally you can just go on and just try it with capital E once and you can see if it is working fine, then it's all good. Okay, fine. So now I want to give it a width of complete my screen, right? I want to cover my screen completely. So I'll just give it width 100%. Right? So whatever size is my screen, even if it is a phone or even if it is like a laptop screen or a big desktop screen, just take 100%. Just take 100%. Now I also want my model to take height 100%. But actually, there is no 100% in height because height keeps on scrolling, right? Height keeps on scrolling. That's why there is no 100% in height, and you should never use 100% in height. But I want my pop-up to cover like not my whole website, but at least the first view screen that I'm watching, right? It is known as a viewport. The first actual screen that when the website comes is basically it's your viewport, like how much you can view at a time, right? Everything else is down on the scroll, but how like any amount that you can view on the live screen on the side of your screen is basically a viewport. And you can also give your div a viewport height. You can say, okay, not a problem, I don't want 100% height, I don't want the whole website height, I just want height of my viewport, right? I just want height of my viewport, so cover my viewport, cover from top to bottom. So now the height of the viewport depends on the laptop or PC or the machine you're using. So I'm going to say, okay, it doesn't matter. Whatever the height is, take the complete viewport. So you can just go on and write height 100 VH. VH is viewport height. It will complete, like I'm going to show you how it is working. So I'll just give a background color of black for now. You can see how it is working. Refresh, and you can see there's only a button that is giving. Let's comment this button for some time. You can see. You see, there's no scroll bar. That is, I'm not going any further down. So complete width, complete height of the viewport. Pixel is basically like a unit I define. Pixel is a unit, right? So it is on my screen pixels, whatever the height of width I take. VH is basically to cover the complete height of your screen, the complete viewport height. Is that clear? Complete viewport height. The amount you can view in your laptop from top to bottom in the browser window, it is VH, it is viewport height. Pixel like this goes on, right? If you give 100 pixel, it will take 100 pixel. If you give 2000 pixel, it will give 2000 pixel and give you a scroll. Is that clear? Is that clear? Is VH cleared now? Like if I say, I'm just going to show you. Laptop images. I'm going to show you. So right. So this thing, right? This here, this thing. This from top to bottom, this is a viewport. So any amount that you see on your laptop at once, that is your viewport. Is that clear? So that is the viewport height. So I'm at least telling my div not to take any height, but take at least that much height. Cover my screen. That's all. Don't go down, but at least cover my screen. That's all my viewport says. So viewport height is that. So 100 VH will cover my screen. And I just wanted that, my div to cover the complete width and the complete height of my screen. That's all. Complete height of my viewport actually. Is that clear? Fine. Okay, that's it. Now let's create a div inside this, the content div that I want. So let's say div, like this is the thing where I'm going to show my data, right? So div.class with I can say data. That's fine. So let's do it. Dot data. Height of 500 pixels. Width of 70%. Sorry for those mistakes. And background color. I'll just give it a white. Let's see it now. Okay, fine. So I have a div on that div. Okay, but okay, I have zoomed it. Okay, I'm so sorry. Fine. So this is 500 pixels, right? This is 500 pixel. Please focus on this, please. Fine. So that is 500 pixel. Now let's try to adjust it in the center. So margin left. So my width is 70. That means 30 is remaining. So if I do 15%, I'll get in the center, right? That's perfect. And let's give it a margin top of a little bit. Okay. Margin top of, let's say, 100 pixel. Okay. By default, they are block elements. That's why they pull everything with them. So I'm going to say you're not a block element, you're an inline block element. And that's all. This is just a property of CSS that makes our divs are by default a block element. So they pull everything with them. Right? So I just named it like you're an inline block element. So that's all. Perfect arrangement. Is that clear? Now we know how we created this. Yes, I remember. Yes, we all remember Deepak Kumar Mohanty. Not a problem. Okay, fine, perfect. Is everyone understood this? Right? And now I actually don't want to give it a background color of black. I'm gonna give it an RGBA, right? So we can give a like feature for red, green, blue. So basically, if you want to make a black color div, your red value should be 0, your green value should be 0, and your black value should be 0. This is how it works, right? So if it is an RGB, actually, let's first try it for RGB, and if it is working for black, right? So I'll give it an RGB. Data is not an element. Data is not an element. Data is my class. So I have a div element, right? I have a div element, and data is a class. So basically, data is an element, but it's a class for this particular div element, right? It's a class. So now, still I have a black div, a proper black div, right? Now, let's go on. And actually, there is something called as RGBA, and A stands for alpha. And alpha means the opacity you want, the transparency you want in your div. The transparency you want in your div, that is alpha. So if I make it 1, that basically means completely visible. If I make it 0, that means completely transparent. So let's see, if I make alpha 0, you can see everything is gone. The black has completely gone, right? But if I make it 1, alpha is 1, completely visible. So I can go in the middle and make it a little transparent. So I can just go on and write, let's say 0.5. Save it and see. Now black is looking like a little gray. That basically means it has been transparent. Behind it is white. That's why I can see it is a gray. You cannot remember hex values. You cannot remember hex values. Even I can't remember hex values. Like you can remember it for some like 10 or 15 that you use regularly. But if you can't remember, you can use your browser actually. So you can just go on, inspect. I'm just showing you, right? So you have this element, right? Here down here you have your CSS. So from here you can actually take colors. So right now it is in RGB. If you just go on, press here. Okay, there's the option to get hex. Fine. Here you can get hex value for it. So here's a spinner that you can click. So you can get any kind of thing, hex, RGB, HSLA, any kind of color combination that you work with. So this is the place where you can go on, right? So they give it. So give it any normal color like red or blue, and then just go right click, see your colors, change it, and just see live on the browser that whatever you want to do. Arjun, there are a lot of ways to make your site responsive, right? There are a lot of ways. Like in CSS, you do a lot of things. So I can't tell everything, but there are few things that always try to give width in percentage. That is the start of your responsiveness. Okay, let's start then. Perfect. Okay, I have changed it here. I don't want to leave it here. RGBA 000 and 0.5. That's all. Perfect. Now I uncomment my button, right? I uncomment my button, and you can see actually my button comes down here. Right? You can see my button comes down here. See this? I'll just give it some padding actually so that you can see. The button, padding of let's say 20 pixel. It will be a big button, but let's just see it. So you can see my button, right? You can see a click button here. See, but there might be some problem, buddy. There might be some problem. You can just write your CSS code here, and I can see if you like if it is small actually. So here you have a button, but now the problem is my pop-up is here, right? And everything else goes down the pop-up. So if I hide my pop-up and in future, if I click somewhere and it shows, everything will go down and I don't want that. So you can see my pop-up is here and everything is just continuing down. Everything is just coming down the pop-up. So if I hide it, everything will be perfect. But if I show it, everything will again come down. I don't want that. I want my pop-up to be ahead of my like all the elements. So for that, I'll just go on. So now it is a little serious concept, but I can't explain it right now because it will take a lot of time to explain you about positions. But I just want you to like just understand this property, position, and just go on and learn it. You will understand it. Not a problem. So now I'll come to my model and I'll just say position fixed. And that's perfectly fine. Now you can see my button goes just behind it. So position fixed basically means it will fix my model. Now my model like will not scroll with my scroll. So if I have a lot of elements behind it, they will get scrolled, but my model will never get scrolled. So it will be fixed on my screen. Plus, it's just ahead of on the next index. So everything is just like if I just do position fixed, like first it was like this, right? My model and all my elements. So I give my model position fixed, it just comes one index ahead. Now everything is here, properly scrolling, and it is position fixed. So it will never scroll, it will just like this. Is that clear? But I'll just tell you that please just go on and understand the position property. For now, just think it like I have just created something. But I'll just tell you, please go on YouTube or anywhere and just try to understand that position property. It's perfectly fine. Is that clear, everyone? But if you know CSS, you know this property. But I can't explain it right now. It will take a little time to explain about positions and everything. Right? Now, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to hide this thing. I'll just I'll just go to my model and I'll say display none. And basically, to make it invisible, and that's all. So I don't have a model now. There's only a button. And now what I want to do is, I want to show that model on click of this button. And I already have a function, right? I already have a function. Is that clear? Is everything clear up till now? Because we are going to implement this model thing in our project. Is everything cleared up till now? Is everyone clear with this? Perfect. Now, basically, the thing we want to do is, so by default, now what is happening? My model has a property display none, which is making it invisible. So on click of the button, I just have to change that display property and I can see it, right? So let's do it. So I want to work on the model on click of the button. So we have to fetch that model div first, right? So I have a class model, right? I have a class. So now let's fetch it. So just write let model equals. I'm fetching that element and everyone knows how to fetch element because we are doing it from the last 3 or 4 lectures. Document dot get elements by class name. And I know that it gives an array, right? It gives an array. So I always need the 0. Now, my element is stored inside this model div to check. And everyone who is getting error with class names, you can just console.log it and check whether you're getting the proper element or not. So everyone who is complaining about I'm not like getting everything with class names, I'm not getting my elements, or by using class names, my element doesn't work. You can just go on and console.log your fetchings, whatever you fetched, just console.log it and check if it is coming properly. So see, I'm just gonna print this model and confirm, like, do I have my proper element in my model variable, right? So I'll just check. So inspect, console, right, and click. So see, I'm getting my div, proper div. So I know that it is working. Is that clear, everyone? I know that I'm getting my element properly. So now my model variable has my element and I can work. Fine. Now someone is Deepak is writing model.display. Actually, it's not like that. You cannot use model.display because display is not an attribute of your model. Display is a CSS property. And to work on a CSS property of an element, you just don't write the element dot any CSS property. Now listen, remember this line. Whatever attributes you have with that particular element, you can just go on and write element dot that attribute. So if you want to work on the attributes of an element, on the attributes of a tag, you can just fetch the element. So element dot attribute. That's totally fine. But if you're ever working with a CSS property of an element, so first fetch the element, that is my model. And if I'm working on CSS, you have to write model dot style. So element dot style, because you're working with it CSS, working with its styling. So model dot style dot any property, any property. So after style, you can write any CSS property. That's totally fine. Style dot the property was display. Rashmi, still confused with model of zero? Like we have done it like a lot of times, right? Document.get elements by class name gives you an array. Even if it is a single element, it gives you an array, right? I'll again show you. I'm showing again. So let's just print it. See, if I don't do this model of zero, see what I get. See what I get. So now I've just written document.get elements by class name, and class name should be model, and I'm storing it in model. So I know that I only have one element, right? I know that Patel, Rashmi, I know that I have only one element, but see what it is giving me. See, it gives me an array. Even if I have one element, it gives me an array. And I know that if I have only one element inside an array, that is always on the zeroth position. If there are two elements, one will be on 0, one will be on 1. If there are three elements with the same class, one will be on 0, one will be on 1, one will be on second position. But I know that I only have one element. So inside an array, there will be only one element. And by default, if it is one element, it will be on the position 0, right? So that thing is giving me an array. So I just wrote, okay, whatever array you're getting, from that, only the 0 index. That is only the first element. And there is only one element. So by default, I'll get my model. Is that clear, Rashmi? Rashmi, is it clear now? Okay, cool. So now model.style.display. Display is nothing but the CSS property, right? We use display none to hide the model, right? Sarun, we use display property to hide the model. And again, we are going to use display property to show the model, right? So model.style. So remember, after using .style, you can use any of the CSS properties related to the element. So model.style, that basically means model का जो भी CSS है. So model.style.display equals block. So by default, the display of that element was block. That's why it was visible. So I again made it block on the click of the button, right? Let's do it. Let's check. And that's all. See? Let's do it. Click. See, the model comes again. Save. Perfect. Fine. And see, it is transparent. You can see the behind the things. And you can put whatever content you want here. Is this clear? Is this clear? Is this clear, everyone? Are we clear with this? You can use a for each loop, right, Prince? You can use a for each loop and apply the CSS properties to all of them. You can travel everything and just do it. Hide and show, Ganesh, are the properties of jQuery. Those are the functions made in jQuery, so we cannot use it here. It's vanilla JavaScript. You cannot use hide and show. Yeah, but in the same way, you can use hide and show. Ganesh, if your question is like, if you're working with jQuery and if you want to use hide and show, yes, you can use. In the same way, you can create a function and make it hide or show. That's totally fine. Now I have one problem. So now if I click, I can show my model, but now I don't have a way to close my model. There's no way that I can close it, right? There's no way. Sorry, I just clicked on something. Fine. So there's no way that I can close. I can click on it. So now I have to again create a closing functionality for this model. I again have to create a closing functionality for this model. So either you can create a close button, but I'm going to show you the tough way, the right way actually. So what I'm going to do is I have all this area available. So if I click anywhere, I close this model. So what I'm going to do is if I click anywhere, I can close this model, but not inside this white area. So if I click on this transparent area anywhere, the model will be closed. If I click anywhere, the model will be closed, but if I click on this white area, it will not be closed. Yes, there is a toggle function available in JavaScript, but actually it's in jQuery, it's not in JavaScript. So because we are working with display block and display none, so we cannot just toggle it. We have to create our own function, right? We have to create our own function. So let's create a function. But now remember this thing. I want to click on my model and I want to hide my model. Yeah, it will be shared today. Don't worry, everything will be shared today. So the thing is, I want to click on my model and I want to hide my model. This is what I want to do. So let's create a function. Right? So let's create a function named hide model. Right? And now I again want to work with this thing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do model dot style dot again display none. Right? Let's see if it is working. Yes, you'll get each and every code today. Don't worry. Let's see if it is working first. Okay, I have this put as enabled, that is wrong, and I want to. I have to call. Okay, this is the problem. Then you have. I'm calling the function. So again, same thing. The first function is basically showing the model, and the second function is basically hiding the model. And I want to call this hide model function on my model itself. So I'll just go on that div. You just go on that div or model div, and I'll just write font click hide model, and let's see if it is working. Let's see. Perfect. Click shown. Perfect. Click hiding. Perfect. Is it clear? Is it clear, everyone? Is it clear? Do we have any doubts coming? Yes, there will be an assignment. Don't worry about it. Okay, there is one problem left that I told you people, but I think you forgot. There's one problem left. So if I click hidden, okay, click anywhere, hiding it. Again shown, click on the white area. It's still hiding because the white area, the white div is also a child of that model class. So actually, when you apply an event on parent, that event propagates to child as well. Remember this thing. Remember this thing. I'm going to show you, Ashish. Don't worry. So remember this line actually that what I'm saying. Only not for like pop-up, for every other JavaScript project. If you apply an event on parent, it propagates to child. So that thing is known as event bubbling. That thing is known as event bubbling. It goes to child. It goes to its child. So if you apply anything on parent, it goes to all its childs. Is this clear? So I want to stop that. I want my event to understand that my event should stop propagating. It should be only available for the parent and not for its child. I want my event to stop bubbling actually. Is that clear? By default, parent event bubble or propagates to all the child it has. But I don't want that. So that white div is the child of my element, right? So I don't want to propagate that event to the child. So for that, I need my event object now because that is a property. That bubbling, that propagation property is available with my event object again. So I know how to pass it, right? Inside hide model, I'll pass the event object. That is the event associated with it. I'll come here. I'll again name it event, and then I can just write event dot stop propagation. Is that clear? This is what you have to write. Stop propagation. This event should be only available for the element it is being clicked for, not for its child. Stop the propagation of this event. Now let's see if it is working. Click, shown. Click anywhere else, hiding. Click, shown. Click on the white element. Oh, there's still a problem. Haven't I saved my code? Is there a spelling mistake? Oh, I didn't save my HTML maybe. Wait. I'll save both my code. Again, let's click. Click. Okay, hiding on the parent, click. Okay, there's some problem, I think. Is my spelling correct? I can use if else, right? We can use if else, Santosh. We can use if else. There are a lot of techniques. We can get the target element, but we should always know that if there is shorthand property for everything, we can use if else. If it doesn't work, I have to use that. That's not a problem. But I'm just gonna try everything that is like, how can I do it simply? Let's see. Let's see. Why this thing is not working? This should work actually. Let me just check if this method is actually available or I have written something wrong. I don't know if I have a spelling mistake. Okay, not a fine, Santosh. Not a problem, Santosh. Just check if this I have wrote some mistake. No, the spelling is right? Stop propagation. Okay, the spelling is right. Propagation. Ah, it's perfect. Okay, let's just do one thing. Let's research a little bit. So I'll just print actually that function. Or else maybe one. Just give me a second. What if I write it here? At the end. Does it work now? Propagation, okay, fine. Spelling is right. Here it is event. Okay. Click. Perfect. Hiding click. Still hiding. Okay. I think I have to use some other way, or we can just take 5 minutes to research on it. Let's just take 5 minutes. We can't lose hopes. Just like that. See whatever it is coming inside my event object. Yeah, actually it is like this. I just forgot it. Did you check, Pratik? It is working. Did you check it? No, it's not because of that. Did you check it, Pratik? If it is working, stop immediate propagation. No, okay, you just tried it. Let's see. Okay, fine. No, it's not working. It's not working. Let me check once. Guys, we are just solving everything. Let's see if you get things like this, how to solve them. It's not a problem. Everyone gets errors, right? Click, hide, see, it's a mouse event. Let's see. Okay, let's just go and do this bubbles false. Let's see if that works, because that thing is known as propagation. Oh, okay. Are you sure it's propagation, not propagation? Oh, it's propagation, right here. See, it's propagation, not propagation. You sure that I wrote propagation? No, I wrote propagation, right? It's propagation. Okay, if there's a spelling problem, let's just take that propagation thing from copy it from here. So stop propagation, I'll just copy it from here. I've copied the spelling, should not be a spelling mistake now. Fine. Let's just check it once again. Fine. Click. Okay, click. No, it doesn't work. No, it's not a jQuery event, it's a JavaScript event, man. Come on. Let's do that. Let's do that. I have a property, right? We know there's a property named bubbles. Let's see if it is working. Let's see. Let's check. It's a JavaScript, right? It's not a jQuery thing. See now, there's something called as bubbles. I'm going to use this. If this doesn't work, then I have a way. Then I have a way actually. Bubbles is true. I'm just going to make it false. Let's see now if it works. Click. Okay, click. No, still a problem. We're facing a bit of problem now. Let's solve it. Oh, okay, fine. Fine. Yes, I have saved both the files multiple times here. I have saved it. I have saved it actually. Yep. So, okay, fine. Did you check it, Kushal? Did you check it, Kushal? Is it working? Child node dot propagation. Okay, fine. Not a problem. Let's do a last thing. Sure, come on. We have a lot of ways to do this. Not a problem at all. Fine. So there is something named target available in event object, right? There's target available. It was already true. Gitika, it was by default true actually. So now, if you see, if I click, okay, there's a property named target available in my event. Now, just leave it, not a problem. We are just taking out the new way, the coding way, the perfect way that will never fail us. This is the coding, the solving way is the perfect way. Click, fine. So this is the target, right? If I just go on and write target dot class name, I'll get all the classes related to my element where I'm clicking this, right? So let's see. Please check it out, please. Click. See, the class name was model. See that? Now if I click and click on the white div, the class name was data. Are you getting this? I am printing event.target.className. So please print the class name of the element where my event is getting performed. Are we clear with this? You see, if I click on the model, the class name comes model. If I click on the white div, the class name comes at data. Is that clear? Is this clear, everyone? Fine. So now it's just a simple thing. You can just go on and write if, okay, I'll just copy that line actually. How did I delete it? Just go on at this thing if this is equal to or let's say not equal to data. That's when this should happen. Otherwise, don't do anything. That's all. That's all. So if my class name is not data, do it. That's all. Yeah, because the white div, Ashish, because the class name of the white div is data, right, buddy? The class name of the white div is data. Clear? So one has model. So if I click on model, it's model. If I click on data, it's data. That's all. And I have written, if the class name comes data, don't do it. Only if it is not equal to data, then you have to do it. And I feel it will work now perfectly. Click. Okay, on the model it is working. Click. It's not working on the data. Is it fine now? Are we clear? So there's always a coding way. If you don't get the shorthand properties working, you should know how to code. You should know how to carve your path to do anything. Is this clear? Are we cleared now? So now we're done with models. Now we know how to create a pop-up or a model or anything. Should we move ahead now? Let's do it here. And one thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this code actually and paste it there so that I don't have to write a lot of code, right? So let's do it. Let's do it. Let's copy this code. Let's div. Just go on and paste it here in my project, right? So just, okay, there's already something known as data. So I'll just change my class name actually. Instead of data, I'll write model child. Is that fine? There is already something known as data. So instead of data, I wrote model child. Is that clear? Is it fine? Understandable? I also copy the CSS from there, right? So I also copy the CSS. I'm going to my project one. Copied the CSS instead of data. What was my class name? Model child. That's amazing. I'll also copy the JS code now. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's, instead of copying the JS code, let's do one thing. Let's link two JS files with one HTML file, right? We can do that. One more script. And that's perfectly fine. Yeah, we have to change that. We have to change that. But we didn't do with data, right? We did it with model. It's just we have to change this name. That's all. Now see, with my project1.html, I have linked two JS files, right? So I didn't mess up the code. I don't have to like copy this example.js code to project1.js. Is this clear? I have linked two JS files. Are we clear with this? I have linked two JS files with one HTML file and I can write JS in both of them. Is this clear? It will work. If example.js is one JS file can be linked with multiple HTML files, not a problem. And one HTML file can have multiple links with this. That's not a problem. They are treated separately. That will never be a problem, Gitika. They are treated separately. So one example.js can have links to multiple HTML files, and one HTML file can have multiple JS links. Not a problem at all. It's just how you take your class names and IDs. That's all. Is it clear, everyone? Where I made it right. I have to make model child there also, Gitika. But I just discarded that file. I have to make model child there as well. What, linking one more JS file? Ashish, what is the problem? Okay, I'll do it once again. So the thing was, I was having example.html and example.js, right? So I was having this, right? Please, I'm going to do it very slow. Try to understand. So what I did, I just copied this thing, right? I just copied this thing, copied this structure of my model and pasted it here, right? Pasted it here. But now the problem was, please focus here. The problem was there was already an element named with class data. So it might create a problem when calling with JavaScript. That's why I renamed this class to model child. Perfect. Are we good till here? I'll explain well and don't worry. Let me just explain this first. Are we good till here? Everyone, Ashish, Gitika. Are we good till here? Okay, we'll check Santosh, don't worry about it. Are we clear till here, Ashish? Perfect. And we also copied the CSS, but it was written for data, right? So I just changed it to model type. Perfect. Now the next thing that I have to do is, fine. So if it like again, I have to change it here also. I just didn't do it because I don't want this file anymore. Okay, fine. I just changed it, right? I just changed it again. Close it. Now, if I want my like, if I also want these two functions, right? I also want these two functions. I also want these two functions, right? So the one thing I can do is I can copy these functions and paste it inside my project1.js, which already has a lot of code. So I can just go and paste it down. That is perfectly fine. It will work. But instead of messing up my code, what I decided to link my HTML file with two JS files. So it takes all the superhero code, all the superhero functionalities from here and takes the model showing and hiding functionality from example.js. Is that clear? So two JS files, but you can write code both, like in the both JS files. So inside project1.js, I'm managing all the superhero functionality, and inside example.js, the code is for hiding and showing. So one thing I can do is I can just copy this code, paste it in my project1.js, and then I don't need this. If I copy this code and paste it in my this project1.js, I don't need multiple links, but I didn't do it. So there is some code that is present in like example.js, that is model showing and hiding, and all the superhero functionality code is present in project1.js. So what I did, I linked two files. So that's all. That's all I did. That's like all what I did. Is this clear? Ashish, are we cleared now? Are we cleared now? Ashish, Geetika? Maybe it was a little fast for you people, but it's not a problem. We'll just solve it every time we get a problem. Not a problem at all. Okay, perfect. Let's see if it is working. But now I don't have a button to click. And open the model. So let's create that. So now, if you remember yesterday's code perfectly, inside this only, and you should always know to link multiple files, right? It is very important aspect. So now what I'll do is I'll create one more button in the same PD, but this will be for not for delete, but for update. Is this clear? Let's see if it is working. And there's a function called, I don't want to call this function. Actually, the function that I want to call here is, you remember, right? The function that I want to call here is in this file, right? And what is the name? Okay, the function name is do something. Let's do one thing. Remove this do something. And let's make it show model. Remove this event because we are not using this event object here. So remove, you can just remove it. So show model and call this show model here. Are we cleared with this? So there's an update button, and on it I'm calling it show model. Are we cleared, Hannah? I'll also change it in the first file. So instead of do something, show model, and delete this event object because I'm not using it. This file has been discarded by the way, but still I'm just changing. Are we cleared? Are we cleared with this? On click show model on the update button. If you have attended yesterday's lecture, this is the delete button that I was getting, and this is the delete superheroes function I was calling. And now I created one more button update, and on that I'm just opening the model. That's all. Okay, let's see if it is working. See, I have an update button, right? I have an update button. Let's click on that and see. Perfect. I'm getting my model open. Let's see on the other. Okay. So each and every button is basically opening the model for me. Each and every update button. Are we cleared with this? Are we cleared with this? See, each and every button can open my model. Okay, that's so perfect. There's a little bit of style problem. Let's just solve that. Okay, fine. Instead of where's my first main div? It was data, right? It was data. Now this data is different. Let's play. So that it doesn't pull the elements. This CSS property. See, complete screen, right? See it now? Complete screen coverage. See? Complete coverage. Complete. Now, what I have to do is just create a form inside my white div. I just have to create a form inside my white div. That's what I'm going to do here. Fine, let's do it. So instead of creating a new form, what I can do is, I already created a form, right? I can just copy this form. Not a problem. I'll just change the class names actually, but I can just copy this form. Buddy, we didn't change the class name of the model. Ashish, remember this. Model is still there. We have renamed data to model child, not model to model child. Ashish, listen carefully. Model is still there. We have renamed data class to model child class. We didn't rename model class. Is this clear? And the only thing we work with data was here, and we renamed it from data to model child. Everything else was only for model. There's no data that we used. Is it clear, Ashish? We renamed our data class to model child. We didn't rename model class. So I have a question, hide model function, why we are not used get remember class name model child? Because we actually want to click on the model. Yeah, I changed it on the target, right? I changed it on the target, as you can see. You can see it, right? I changed it on the target. It is changed. In example.js. Data has been changed to model child. Ashish, I'm fetching. Okay, you're asking basically why I didn't use model child because I want to click on the model and not on the model child. Ashish, it's okay, Geetika. Ashish, I want to click on the model and not on the model child. Is that clear? I want to click on the model. And I was just checking if I'm clicking on the model, and if in between the model child comes, so I've written don't do it. If the class name is model child, don't do it. And if the class name is not model child, then only do it. Is it clear, Ashish? I always want to click on the model. But if model child comes in between, don't close it. But if it doesn't come in between, please close it. Is it clear, Ashish? Okay, great. Please focus, guys. And you people also have to speed up a little bit. Fine. So model code is here. I don't have to do anything. So let's create a form. So I can just copy this form. Actually, I don't have to create it multiple times. I can just copy this form. Let's copy the whole div actually. Copy this form and paste it inside your model child div so that I don't have to create a form again. And that's fine. Let's see if it is working. Update. Okay, it is working, but it's a little bit messy, right? It's a little bit messy. Pradyumna, what is your doubt? You can ask actually. You can ask. Please ask. What is your doubt? That's why I explained model separately first, because I knew it will be getting confusing if I do it right here. I explained it properly first and then I changed it. Please ask your doubt, Pradyumna. What is your doubt? Did you just join? You just joined, right? Or are you like following us from the start? Please tell me, Pradyumna, so that I can help you out. What is your doubt? or you have just started watching? Okay, fine. We're moving ahead then. If on clicking update, I'm not getting pop-up. Oh, so it's not working for you. Please check your functions actually. Please check your linking. Please check your linking. Please, guys, listen to this. If you have something problem, yes, I was there from start. Okay, I understood because you created the assignment with me, right? That's totally fine. I can't see your code, brother, so I can't help you like this only. So one thing you can do is please go on the Let's Upgrade community and please post your questions and all your code in there so that I can check and I can help you out. Please, Pradumna. Actually, I'll tell you in the end how to do that. And I'll also be available in the backend. I can show you. Don't worry, Pradumna. Don't worry. If it is, please, guys, if it is not working, don't worry. I'm gonna help you. We're gonna like share everything and just understand. Not a problem, Pradumna. It's totally fine. You can stop it there. Watch everything. I'm gonna help you in the end. Don't worry. Fine. So now I have a form in my model. That's perfectly working. Let's update few things. So instead of add superhero, I'll be writing update superhero. Fine. And this div is a little big for it, right? It's not, we don't require this big div. So let's make it a little smaller. Let's make it of 300 pixels, right? And give it a padding. And I'm not styling it like a very pro right now, but let's just make it happen. Let's just make it work. Let's see if there's an update. Perfect. This is fine. We can actually make it a little less of a height. So we can make it 200. I think this is fine now. It's perfectly fine. This model is perfectly fine. Okay, there's a problem. Oh, see, there's a problem. We have two same for class. Yes, that's fine. We can give same name for the class name. That's not a problem. See, there's a problem now. If I click on this name, see, I'm still hiding. So in my hide model code, what I've written, don't hide my model if the class name is model child. Otherwise, hide it. Now this is giving you a problem. Listen, see, if I'm clicking on the input, now input is the child of my model child, right? If you see, this input element is a child of my model child. And I have written in my hide model code that if it is not model child, then only hide it. So for everything other than model child, it will hide. Are we clear there? So only if I get model child, don't hide it. Otherwise, hide it. So now this is a problem. So this, while I'm clicking on this input, it's not model child and it is hiding it for me. So now what I'll write, instead of model child here, I'll say if the class name is only equal to model, then hide it. For anything else, don't hide it. If the class name only is model, if my class name comes model, so whenever I click, and if the class name is model, so if the class name is of parent, hide it. And for any other thing, for any other child, either it be model child or my input, don't hide it. Oh, that's great, Deepak. So it's actually really cool that I got it here so that I got opportunity to explain to people. So now see, update, on model, hiding. But on this div, on input, it's working perfectly. So now I said, only hide it if class name is model, that is in this black area. Only hide it if it is in this black area. So that's fine. And not for this import or div. Is this clear, everyone? Is this clear, everyone? Are we clear? Great. Now let's move ahead then. Now the next task. So the concept of pop-up is complete now. The concept of pop-up is complete. We don't have to do anything now. Now the biggest problem we're facing here is, what I want to do is, when I click on update, all this data, name, age, planet, and height, should be copied inside this form by default. So when I click on update of any particular record, I want all the data from that record to be copied in this name, age, planet, height, respectively. And that's what I'm going to do here right now. Let's do it. Actually, I have to work with this show model function only because that is what is happening on right. Yes, there are ways, Velen, but we are not like tracking everything right now. So if there is a particular doubt you have, I can show you. apply a condition to a class, and yes, there are ways. We can do anything actually. Fine. So I know that on the click of update, I'm showing a model, right? So on the click of update, I am showing a model, and the second thing that I will do is on click of update only, I'll also copy the data. Fine, let's do it. Let's actually create a function to copy data first. Let's actually create a function to copy it, and we'll call it in there. So copy data, just like my delete superhero function. Actually, just like copy superhero. So just like my delete superhero function, it will also take index. Index. Is it clear? Is it clear, everyone? And let's rename the class name. Let's rename the class names. Actually, I just want it renamed. All these class names actually. So there are a lot of ways that I can keep the same class name, but I just want to rename it for now. Actually, it was ID, so I have to rename it. It's not a class name. So I'll just write UP name, that is update name. Please create separate JS file for each function. We can't do that, Komal. We can't. So if we have 100 functions, we have to create 100 files. We can't do that. We can't create separate JS files for each function. That's not a good practice, Komal. UP name. So like you have infinite JS files then. UPH, UP planet. So the IDs, I'm just changing the IDs, right? I'm just changing the IDs. So when I'm performing the update operation, it's UP name, UPH. Is it clear? I just change the ID name. That's all. We can actually copy it from here, right? We can actually copy it from here. All this thing. I can change it to UP name, UPH, UP planet, UP height, right? Oh, sorry. UP height. So now I'm getting the index of that particular superhero. So I'm going to fetch that superhero from the array, from the superhero array that I have created, just like this. But I'm not going to use plus because I don't want to delete. I want to get that element, right? So var, so let the superhero that I'm fetching, the current superhero, equals that particular element, superhero of index. Oh, the array name is superhero, right? Is this clear? Is it necessary to change the ID? Yes, because you cannot have elements with same ID. AK, you cannot have multiple elements with same ID. So see that in copy superhero function, I'm getting the index. I'm getting the index of that element. The index dot of just like this. Just like this, I'm getting the index of that particular element. And with that index, I'm fetching the element. So superheroes of index. Is it wrong? Are we sure I created superheroes, right? No, it's superheroes. That's fine. So superheroes of index, I'm getting that element and storing inside my superhero. And let's see if I'm getting that superhero actually. Console.log, if I'm getting that particular superhero, let's just check. And I want to call this function, but I also want the index, right? Oh, okay, that's fine. So I want to call this function on show model, but I also have to pass the index. So inside this show model, I'll pass my index, right? And where am I calling this show model? Please focus, guys. It is just getting a little complicated from now. Please focus because we are doing a lot of things. So I'll show you everything like in chronological order. Don't worry. How it is working one by one. Now check. Now please check. Please check. If I click on update, show model function will be called. And I'm passing the current index. Just like I was passing the current index in delete superhero, I'm passing the index in show model as well. Right? Then index in show model. Perfect. Now it is calling show model. And here it is my show model. Show model will have index. It will open the model for me and it will internally call the copy superhero function. And whatever index it is getting, it will just pass directly to copy superhero. Is that clear? And what my copy superhero function is doing is, it will take that index, get the superhero from that index, store it in a superhero variable as an object, and I'm logging that superhero. And let's see if I'm getting the superhero. Are we clear till now? Is this understood? These three functions calling one by one. Is it understood, everyone? It is just going to get complicated with a very big assignment, right? So it's totally fine if you don't understand it at first. I'm going to explain you 5 times if it is possible. But is it understood? Please tell me, everyone. Good to go, Ashish? Okay, that's amazing. Everyone else, are we clear till here? Does anyone want any kind of explanation again? How this thing is working, copying thing? Okay, that is amazing. That is really amazing. You guys are doing great. That is amazing. Perfect. Let's see if it is working. So I'll open my console because I have just printed it right now. I haven't copied it. Okay, there's an error I'm facing. Copy super is not a defined. Oh, okay, there's a problem. Okay. Have I named it wrong? Okay, there are two JS files. I think it should work then, right? Because copy superhero. It should be defined because I have defined it in project. Actually, the thing is, I've defined the. Oh, okay. The problem was semicolon. And the problem was I didn't name it as a function. This is the problem. Yeah, thank you so much, Geetika. Thank you so much. Thank you. Let's forgot it. It's totally fine. So now let's click update. See the current record. Thor. Close. Update. I'm getting Iron Man. Update. Captain America. Let's add one more superhero. Let's see if this feature is still working. I didn't check it. Okay, still working. Update. Perfect. Totally perfect. Fine. Now, I don't have to print it on console actually, this object. Yeah, it is working for me. Not a problem. I just have to set the values. So, it will take the current superhero that I got dot name. The current superhero that I got dot age. The current superhero that I got dot planet. And the current superhero that I got from the update button dot height. Now let's see if my forms are getting filled properly. Let's see. Let's see. Update. See, Thor is already filled here. Update. See, Iron Man. Update. That's perfect. Is it clear till now? Are we enjoying this session till now? Are you with me? Please tell me. Are we clear till now? Are we having fun? No, 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 no. Ganesh, we are going to change that functionality. We are not going to call update again. Sorry, add again. We are going to call update actually. Okay. That's amazing. I see a lot of guys leaving when the things get tough. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. If it is tough, try to understand it. Use it. Keep it working. Don't leave things when they are getting tough, right? Don't leave them. Fine now. It's amazing. And I have a problem actually. Okay. I just want to spelling. There's no spelling check I noticed. And now there will be no add superhero. Actually, I want to create a function named update superhero. This is my function. Update superhero. Right? This is what I want to call. Update superhero. Ganesh, I'm not calling add superhero again. I'm gonna call update superhero, right? Let's do it. Let's create a function. as I'm passing event from there. Let's actually copy the code from our superhero. We need like say a code same like this actually. I'm just copying it, but I'll change it. In update, I don't have to clear my fields. So I'll just delete this code. I don't have to push a new thing. So again, removed it. Right? Totally fine. And I don't have to create a new object actually. So now, and first I have to change this, right? UP name, I'm getting the values from UP name, UP age, right? The UP age. Yes, that is the thing, Deepak. You can watch it again and you can understand it. You can, so if you get it twice, it's totally fine. Now, I just need to get that object that I'm updating. This is the thing. In update superhero, I just need to get that particular object to update that particular record. I just want the index actually. So that I can get, just like in copy superhero, I just got the index, right? Same here. I just want to update anything. First, you have to get that particular element that you want to update, right? Yeah, function keyword again. Sorry for that. Actually, it's a habit of I got from TypeScript, where I don't have to use function keyword, right? That's where I'm getting this habit from. So to update any particular record, you just need that record first. So in update superhero, I'm not creating a new object. I want that record from index, just like I got it from here. But how should I get an index now? How can I get my index again? That is the problem. How can I get my index? Right? Let's find it out. Let's find it out. So in copy superhero, I'm getting index, right? In copy superhero, I'm getting index. Is there a way that I can pass this index from this to this? So I can create a global variable actually and do that, but I don't want that global variable mess. So what I'll do is, see what I'm doing. I actually need that index. I need that index of the record, right? I need the index of the record to get passed into update. That's what I want. So what I'll do now is event. Can I pass it from here? No, actually not. So what I'm going to do here is I'll create a hidden field. Actually, there is something we can do. We can just go on and use. We can make index global. Actually, let's do that only. Let's do that only. Let's do one thing. So let's create. Let's update index, like whatever superhero you're updating equals, it's by default, or let's say by default it's nothing, it's undefined. Now whenever someone calls copy superhero, what I'll do is I'll just update this. So whatever update index is, make it index. So whenever someone presses update button from my form, sorry, from the record update, and copy superhero is called, whatever index I'm getting, I'll just copy inside update index. Is it clear? Let's console.log it. You can see if it is changing continuously. Right? Let's see. Oh, there might be a problem, a little problem. Let's see. Okay, there's an error. Let's see what is the problem. Let's go on the console actually. Semicolon, I made the semicolon somewhere. On line 103. Okay. I'm so sorry about this. Save it. See now. Click on update. Okay, it's actually 0. It is printing first and what is happening with this? Okay, the index is actually 0. I'm so sorry. Fine. Let's check. Let's see. For a second. Perfect. For third, perfect. Are we clear with this update index? So I created a variable outside the function. So I can use that particular variable in 2 or 3 functions, right? So I created a variable update index. So whenever I click on update, whenever I click on this update, the copy superhero function is called, and whatever the index of this particular record, is it in here, right? It's in here, it's in this index. I just copy that index that is in this index to update index and give it to update. So every time I click on update, the particular index of the particular record gets copied in update index. Is it clear? Is it clear? Gitika, we can just we can create a parameter, but we have to call that function from JavaScript then. That will be a problem, Gitika. This is a more sophisticated and simpler way actually. Gitika, are we clear with this? Everyone, are we clear with this? Please tell me. We are on the verge of completing the assignment. Are we clear with this? So whenever a copy superhero is called, the superhero that I'm copying from the record. Okay, I'll explain once again. Everyone, I'll explain once again. So what's happening? If I click on this update, I know that copy 2 parameter thing. We don't need that 2 parameter thing because we don't have a way to pass this index as a parameter of that function. We can't pass that. We can't do that. Kritika, we can't pass this index to this function. We cannot do that. We can't apply a parameter. We can't apply an argument from 2 places, right? We can't apply update because update superhero is actually a calling function. This is a function call. I can't manipulate this. Are we getting it? This is a function call. I can't manipulate this, right? So again, I'm explaining what's happening. If copy superhero is called, right? What's happening if I click on this update, copy superhero is called, whatever index is of this particular element, this particular record, is I'm getting the superhero and I'm setting it to update form. Plus, I'm using the same index to update the update index variable that is globally available, right? And I'm going to use the update index in my update superhero function. Are we clear with this? Let's do it. So whatever the element is in update index, I'm just going to fetch it here from update index. Are we clear with this? Are we clear with this? Are we using no copy superhero is basically getting called on this update button, right? This update button. So this will call copy superhero. So this will actually call show model. This will actually call show model, and show model will call copy superhero. Is it clear? And copy superhero will basically do what? Will copy all these records to this. Is this clear, Gitika? And now on update superhero. Yes, it will be difficult to follow. You have to see this video again to follow everything. It will be a little difficult to follow. It's totally fine. Difficult is fine. Impossible is not an option, right? Let's do it. See, I'll explain everything once again, okay? I'll explain this the last time with this update function actually. And I'm just going to print this superhero as well. So console.log. Good. If I click on this update, show model gets called. That is this, right? So let's do it. Update show model. Perfect. Now how this is getting filled? Because of the copy superhero function. A copy superhero is called, index of the element is passed, and inside copy superhero, what I'm doing? I'm getting the element which is present on that particular index from the superhero's array, setting it to the superhero variable, and taking all the values from that variable and putting in my UP name, UP age, UP planet, UP height text boxes. That is all this, and the elements are copied now. Is it clear? Elements are copied. Now, if I click updates, and I also did one more thing in copy superhero. Took the element, took the show error. Can you send this today? I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna share everything today. And now what's happening? Please listen. And inside copy superhero only, I take that index and store it in update index. Right? I store it in update index. Stored it perfectly fine. And now, if I click on update superhero, what will happen? First, I get the superhero that is already present on the index. First, I get the superhero that is already present on the index. So I stored the index of the current element in update index, right? So first, I get the superhero. I have console.logged it. Let's see if I'm printing the current superhero. Let's see if I'm able to print the current superhero. Let's comment all this out. Let's comment all this out. Right? Let's comment all this out, and let's see if I'm getting the current superhero. Refresh. Update. Update. Okay, there was a problem. Okay, there's a problem. It's event here, and I'm doing e.dot. So I'll just name it e, right? Okay. Let's see if it is working now. Update. Update. You see, I'm getting thought. Update. Update. Is it clear? Right? So whatever is stored in update index, according to that index, I'm getting the element from the superheroes array and storing in superhero and printing the superhero. Is it clear? I got the element. Yes, I'll explain all the procedure. Don't worry. I'll explain it in like 5 minutes. Everything. Are we clear with all this? Are we clear with this till now? Are we cleared? Are we cleared? Everyone, please tell me, are we cleared? Please let me know. Right? So I got my superheroes, right? And now what I want to do is I'll get whatever has been written in my text boxes. Why use index directly without? Why use it without update? How can you use it without update index? You need the index, right? You want that superhero. To update a superhero, first you have to get that superhero, right? And to get a superhero from superhero array, you need the index of that superhero, right? Who was having a doubt? Okay, deleted by. Is it deleted? Okay, fine. It's totally fine. Fine. So now the second thing that I'm doing in update superhero is getting all the values from this text boxes, whether they are changed or unchanged, whatever it is, I'm getting all the values and storing it in my variable. And from this variable, I'm storing it in my already fetched superhero. Storing it in my already fetched superhero. So now I fetched a superhero. Let's say values were Iron Man, blah, 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 blah. And then, so let's say it was Iron Man 6.2, Earth and everything. So whatever values I get from these text boxes will be updated to the existing superhero's name, age, planet, and height that I got from here, right? And then I'll finally call display. Is it clear? Or just to show you, before display, let's first console.log the superhero before getting updated. So this is before getting updated. And let's call the superhero after getting updated, right? So that you can understand. So I'm once printing the superhero before getting updated, and once printing the superhero after getting updated. And let's see what are the changes. And in between this is the change that I'm doing, right? Let's do it. Let's understand it. Let's do it. Update. Let's change Thor to Thor Odinson. This is the update that I'm performing, right? Let's click. Now if I click, what will happen? First, I'll console.log this existing superhero that I'm fetching from the array. Then this is the process of updating that superhero object, and this is printing the updated object. Let's do it. Update. See now. The first print is of Thor, and the second print is of Thor Odinson. So this is before update, and this is after the update. Is it clear? Is it clear, everyone? Are we cleared now? Are we cleared now? Please tell me, are we cleared now? Okay, that's amazing. Now, the final thing, that is, good. Date for code insert. Update. It might be updated, but it's behind the model, right? So we have to close the model after getting updated. We have to close the model. So let's close it. See it here. Let's update Captain America. Let's say Captain America died. Let's say Captain America got old. Update. Let's update Iron Man's age from 34 to 78. Update. See. Yeah, let's add Batman. Let's add an update. Let's add an update actually. Let's add Batman, age 34, planet Earth, height 6.2. Let's add it. Fine, I've added a superhero. Now let's update it. Update. Let's say Batman to I am Batman. Okay. And it is working perfectly fine. The same thing, Vishal, the same thing. The page will get refreshed. Because it's a submit button, the page will get refreshed. It will do the same thing. Please tell how to store all the operations. What is store the operations? I didn't get you, Gitika. What is store all the operations? Store the data, right? Okay, you're asking about storing the data, not operations. That is what we're going to do in the next 15 minutes, storing the data permanently. I'm going to show you how it is done. Yeah, I'm going to show you. But is the project clear till now? Yes, you can close. You can just call the hide model function, Ashish. But the only problem is hide model is below. So I can't call it this type. So what I have to do is I have to move this function in the project file. I'll just check if it is working. Remember the concept I explained about hosting? Okay, there is a problem actually in hide model. Hide model actually doesn't hide the model. It actually does what? It actually checks if I'm clicking on the model. So if you want to hide the model, just copy this code actually. Because I'm not clicking anywhere. I'm clicking on the update button, right? Just copy this code and paste it here. And that's all. This is the code for hiding model. Code for hiding model from anywhere. And not by clicking. That's all. Let's do it. Need database, actually we can do it without database, just for permanent, just for temporary time by using the local storage concept, and I'm going to explain you that also. Let's see if model is hiding. Update. Thor the strongest. Update. Yeah, you have to watch again, Prince, that's not a problem. Watch it like how anytime you want, but you have to make it clear. It's totally fine. So let's make the data permanent now. Should we? We can take another like 25 minutes, not a problem. Should we make the data permanent? Yes, we are moving ahead. So like we have covered a lot of JavaScript concepts and a lot of new ones actually for you. So that's not a problem at all. You have understood a lot of things. Okay. First, I'll explain you local storage and then we'll mix it up with the project. I don't want you to like just barge in. So let's first do it in the normal example.html, just normal, really normal. Or let's create one more file actually. Ashish. Yeah, it might be new for some people, Ashish. That's totally fine. If you know, that's great. So let's say local storage dot, and for this, I'm going to use internal JavaScript. I'll not create a new JavaScript file and make it. I'm just going to use an internal JS file. That's totally fine. So you also have an example of internal JS. You'll also have that. Okay, HTML again, file. Why didn't I get the option of writing HTML? Okay, that's fine. Close this thing. Yeah, not a problem, Ashish. It's totally fine. I'm just kidding. Okay, so I'm writing an internal JS here. I'm not writing any kind of external JS, just to like get your file with internal JS also. Let's do it. Let's run this file first. So copy. So first of all, what is local storage? So there are two kinds of storage you can perform with JavaScript. Actually, let's just listen in the definition in 2 lines. There are two kinds of storages that you can perform in JavaScript. One is local storage and one is session storage. Remember, and the storage area for this, for the local and session storage is basically your browser. This data that I will store using local storage and session storage are going to be stored in your particular browser. So if you just copy this assignment, paste it in another PC, store it like in there, data will be cleared and it will start a new storage. So local storage is basically local. It's for your PC and your browser only, not for any other browser. Is that clear? So local storage data is stored in your particular browser. Is that clear? And there are two kinds of storage, local storage and session storage. I'll also tell you the difference. Session storage is basically a storage based on a session. So it's related to the particular tab. So if you start using session storage, it will store data only for that particular session. Once you close the tab, the data is gone. So till the tab is open, data, you close the tab, the data is gone. Is that clear? Not even the browser. Once you close the tab, the data is gone. Is that clear about session storage? It is only stored for that particular session, for that particular tab, and only for the time it has been opened. And when I talk about local storage, it's like a permanent storage for browsers. So if you store something by permanent storage, you can access in any tab. You can access that data in any tab, and it's available for lifetime until and unless you delete your history or delete your storage or delete your browser. Till that time, it's available. It can be accessed for in the next day, in the next week, in the next year. That's totally fine. It's permanently available. So for this, we're going to use local storage and not session storage, so that if in future also we can see our data. Is that totally fine? Do you understand the difference? Do you understand the difference, everyone? Are we clear? Fine. Let's move ahead. Let's do it. Let's work with local storage now. So have I run this one? Did I run it? No. Let's run this file. Copy. Path. Paste it here. Okay. I just have to open the console because you cannot see any data here right now. Let's do it. So the object is this, local storage. That's all. The data will be available when we open our project next time. Yes, it will be available, but only if you use local storage. Yes, yes. I think they are not really cookies. Local storage and session storage, they are not really cookies. They are different than cookies. Local storage dot, the function is set item. This is what it is, set item. Right? Local storage dot set item. The first parameter is the key, name by which you're storing your data. So I'll just say name, comma. The second parameter is the data. I'll say sort. That's all. Local storage dot set item with the name and the value sort. Let's refresh it and it will be stored. Okay, there's a problem actually. What is it? Oh, It's local storage. I think it's capital S. I'm so sorry I missed that. Refresh it, and it has been stored. It's done. Now let's do one thing just to check. Comment this out so that setting item doesn't work no more. Now let's try to fetch it. And if it has been stored, we can fetch it. So dot get item. What was the name? Name. Actually, I have to log it. Console.log. Right. Let's see if I'm getting this. It. Sorry. Yes, local storage is a keyword. It's an object. Local storage is an object by default available in JavaScript. It's an object. If you like, you can update it again. You can update this name thing. Just go on and again set item for the same key. For the same key, just change the name. That's all. If you take the same key and change the name, the item will be updated. See now? Stop. Is this clear? Now let's do one thing. We'll remove the set item code and only run this get item code, right? Close the browser for once. Okay, we have closed. Let's close the browser actually. Close the browser for once. Open it again. Right? Run this file again and let's see if I'm getting the name. If I'm still getting the name. Let's see. Copy path. Paste. Let's see the console. Perfect. Are we clear? Are we clear with this? And if you want to delete item, I'm just not going to delete them, but I'll just show you the function. There's a function in local storage dot remove item, and it just needs the name. It will surely work. I'm not going to show you, but it will surely work. Yeah, Vishal, you can say it here. It's remove item. I'm not going to show it, but it surely works. Believe me. So 3 functions: set item, get item, remove item. That's all you have to do. There's also a shorthand for this. I'll explain it in the next lecture or at the end today. So this is what it is. Session storage works same. Instead of local storage, you just use session storage or set item, session storage or get item, and session storage or remove item. Is that clear? So you can check this out. You can check it on your own. That's totally fine. And I told you the difference. What is the difference between them? So it's not a problem. So can we now move on to our project and see how can we add this all up and make our data permanent? Should we? Okay, it will be a little tough. Please try to understand. Mahapet was only 3 lines. Name is variable, so why in what? No. You're not understanding it. Name is variable. If I write any keyword, then it will search for it in the file. If there is a variable named like that, right? So the first parameter is a string parameter. In that you have to put a key up, AK. You have to put a key in that. It's not a variable. It's a key. And wherever the set item or get item function is made, it accepts it as a string. That's why we have to pass it as a string. Is it clear? AK. We have to pass it as a string. Fine. It's not going to be easy task. It will be a little complicated. Let's try to understand it. So we have to store and get it every time whenever we have to work with it or change it. Is it fine, everyone? Or should I do one thing? I should create a copy of the project, and in that I should make a permanent storage so that you also have this project and that project. I'll do that actually, so that you have both of it, because I'm going to do a lot of changes for permanent storage. I'll just create a copy of this project, right? And for now, what I'll do is, Shivani, it's simple, right? Whenever you feel I just want a storage for some time, when for like the time I'm using the browser, that's when you can use session storage. And when you feel like there is some kind of data that I want to access tomorrow as well as in future, or it should not go away when the browser is closed, you use local storage. It's simple. It depends on the situation. It depends on the condition. What are you performing actually? So if you just want your data to be present for some time whenever you're using, use session storage. If you want your data that should not go away even after browser closeness, or even if you want to access yes like tomorrow or day after tomorrow, you have to use local storage. Okay, and guys, I'm creating a new project. Right, for permanent storage. I'll just copy all that code and then make the changes. And for now, I'll just copy this function, remove it from here, and I'll just maintain a single JS file so that it doesn't get confusing. But you know, you can, right? You know that you can make multiple files. So I moved it to here so that I don't need that there. I don't need it. And inside here, I don't need this link now. Right? So I have a very single file, and I'll just close it. Can you understand what I did? I just removed the dependency of example.js. I just copied the hide model and show model code in my project file only. Is that clear, everyone? I just copied the whole code in my project file only. Fine. So that I only have to create 2 more files. So now I'll write like permanent. I'm very bad at spelling, right? Permanent project 1 .html and permanent project 1.js. Is that fine though? Right? Now what I'm going to do is I'll just open project 1.html, copy everything, and paste in permanent project.html. It's totally same, right? I'll copy project 1.js in permanent project.js. Right? And that's all. Those are the tabs. And only open permanent project.html. So only these 2 files are open. And let's see if they are still working. And right, now you have to link it with permanent project 1.js, right? And let's see if they are still working. Let's just check once if after copying and pasting, they're still working. Okay, let's just check once. Let's just check once if everything is working fine. Update for Odinson. Update. Okay, working fine. Search is working. Or perfect. Everything is working. Is it clear? Please, Lambodar, no personal questions. I can tell you this afterwards. Don't worry. Take it in a normal way. Don't get offended. Is it fine, everyone? Is it still working? That's fine, Lambodar. It's not a problem. Take it in a normal way. That's totally fine. Now, let's change. Let's change it. So just see. Okay, perform delete. Okay, Pradyumna? Still works, but still everything is temporary. Everything is still temporary. Okay. Okay, fine. Let's do it. So now to store my data permanently, basically my data is this array, right? You know, the data that I actually have is nothing but this array. This is the data I have. So I have to store this data in local storage. But you cannot store an array or an object in your local storage. You always have to store a string. So I have to convert, listen, I have to convert my JavaScript object to a string and then I can store it. So the process will go like this. Whenever I want to store, I have to convert my JavaScript object to the string, and then I can store. And whenever I have to perform, like whenever I have to get the data, I have to get the string, and to work on it, I have to again convert it into a JavaScript object, and then I can use it. Is this cleared? Process clear? Is the process cleared now? Take the JavaScript object, convert it into a string, and store it. And to work on the object, remove it from the storage, take it from the storage, convert it into an object, and then use it. Is that clear, everyone? Is that clear? Perfect. Let's perform them. Let's perform it. Let's perform it. So let's first store this data. Let's first store this data. Let's start. Okay. So I can do it. I can't do it directly here actually. Okay. So let's go to add superheroes. This is here. After adding, whatever the array is there, right? Whatever array is there, I have to convert it first. So to convert a JavaScript object or an array of objects to a string, yes, we can create actually, but right now I'm not creating it. Actually, we can create. But let's see. We'll do it afterwards. First, we'll write the code, and then we can see if we can manage all that. We'll see. So let's first convert our data object to a string, right? Let's first convert our object to a string, right? So to convert our object, so I'll just write let string superheroes. So it's like converted to string, right? The function is JSON dot stringify. This is the function that we can use to convert a JavaScript object or a JavaScript array of objects to a string. So I want to convert superheroes. So it will convert my superheroes array to a string, right? And then I can just go on and write local storage dot set item. I can give the name as superheroes, and to store, I'm just going to store, and that's all. That's all. It will get stored. Is it clear? And I'll just go inside my display function. It will be a little tough. Please try to understand. It will be a little tough. I'll remove the super array. So remember, I have one I already have one file for without permanent storage, so you can refer that at the start. Now, for every time, if I want to work with the array, I have to fetch it first, right? So let super array equals, I have to get that element, right? Local storage dot get item, and the item name was superheroes, and it will come as a string. Okay, if you want to see it on the console, okay, I'll do it once for you. Let's not store it. Let's just convert it into a string, and let's just log and see, right? I have to show you the difference actually. I'll log two things. One, the superheroes array. One, after converting it to a string. What's the difference? Let's see. So once I'm doing superheroes array, and one is string superheroes. Let's see. And it is getting called in add superheroes, right? So we have to add a superhero to see it. Let's see. Did we change something? Oh, we removed this, right? Super array. I'm console.logging both the things. Please check. So let's add a new. So any name, any age, right? Add. See, one is a JavaScript object, and one is I have displayed as a string. Understood the difference, Geetika? Both are superhero arrays, but one is as a JavaScript object and one is after getting converted to a string. Is it clear now? Are we clear with this? Are we cleared with this? Everyone? Please, everyone, are we cleared? Ashish, everyone? No, that's okay, not a problem. Okay, great, Lambodar. Ashish, are you there? Are we cleared now? Rahul, okay, that's perfect. Let's move ahead then. Fine. Let's start the changes now. Okay, let's start the changes. So again, same thing. First, what was my change? I'm going to store it in local storage first after adding the first element. So again, I'll just remove this console.logs from here. Every time I add a data, I'm just gonna store superheroes in my local storage. So every time I'm adding, I'm gonna convert my superheroes and then add them. Is it clear? And for that, to add, I also have to fetch. To add, I also have to fetch. So there are a lot of problems that we have to like change first. But let's do it one by one. Let's do it one by one. Now I'm not going to pass any kind of super array here. Or actually we can pass. Actually we can pass. We don't have to change this actually. Let's keep it like this only. Let's keep it like this only. I'll always pass the updated array here to display. I'll always pass the let's keep it like this only. Okay. So this is storing, and I also have to fetch it first, right? So I can store. I have to store it for the first time first. Okay, I have to perform something on the load of the page for once only. I have to perform something for once. So at the first time, whenever the application is created, for the first time, I actually need to store it, right? For the first time, right? So to fetch, we can create a function and set, yes, we can do that, Ashish. We are going to do that. We are going to convert it to functions. So now just remember this, for the first time when we visit this site, I want to store the object first. So I'm just going to do window dot onload equals function. So this function will get called on the load of the screen. Function. Right? And we can take this array inside that function. For the first time, these three data will be there for the first time. And we will check if that local storage is already present. For the first time, we'll check like if the local storage is present. If local storage is present, so if local storage dot get item, let's see what is the value that we get if there is no local storage. Let's just check it first. So what is the value that we get if there is no local storage? So local storage dot get item. If there is no item, what will we get? What are we getting? So, oh sorry. Is there item named hello? Okay, it gives me null. So if there is no local, if hello item is not available, it gives me null, right? If hello item is not available, it gives me null. So if local storage get item superheroes, if it is not present, it will give me null, right? So if it is null, then only create the local storage, right? Local storage dot set item. This is only for the first time. Superheroes. Copy that thing. Where is it? Oh, this is only for the first time, guys. This is only for the first time. Okay. So, for the first time, on load of the screen, on load of the window, for the first time if the page loads, please check if a local storage named superheroes available. If it is not available, then create it. If it is available, leave it. They're going to use it down there. But if it is not available, it gives me null. That means it is not available. Then first you have to create that item. Is it clear? That is what I'm performing. Because at the first time, because you want to create it only once. After that, you have to update it. You want to create it only once. Are we cleared now? Are we cleared now? Are we clear? Are we clear for this? First, I'm checking if that local storage is already present. If it is present, don't do anything. If it is not present, create it. Are we cleared, everyone? So that's fine. This is doing its thing now. Now, when we are in add function, add superhero. So every time if I want to add or update, first I have to fetch the object. So if it is null, how it can perform? I've wrote it, right? If it is null, then only perform. I'm creating it, right? I'm creating set item creates the storage, right? Set Bhagishri set sorry, who was Madhur? It's creating item. If I'm not getting this superheroes item, that basically means I want to set it. I want to create a new item. Set item sets also, and if it is not present, creates it also. So it does both things. Set item, if the item is present, it will set to it. If it is not present, it will create it. So set item is for both things. Don't worry about it. Fine. Now, whenever I'm adding superhero, so first, what I have to do before adding, now the process goes like this. To add a superhero, first, I have to fetch the string, I have to convert it into an object, I have to add a value, and then I have to change it. So let's create a function actually for it. Let's create a function up there. Actually, we can't because we have to update and add. Let's first do it, then we'll create a function afterwards. Let's first fetch it, the superhero. So it's a blank object, right? Perfect. Let's fetch the superheroes first. So let superheroes equals to, now it appends or overrides. Actually, it overrides. That's why we have to fetch and update, fetch and update, fetch and update. It actually overrides. So see what I'm doing. See what I'm doing. So first I'll fetch it. First I'll fetch it, right? So local storage dot get item superheroes. And as I know, get item give you a string. Get item will give you a string. So even inside it, our whole data, the whole object is stored as a string, right? We have stored our whole object as a string. So if we perform get item, it will be a string, and we cannot perform push operations or pop operations or splice operations on a string. We have to again convert that string into an object. So to convert that, just as we had a function json.stringify to convert object to string, we have another function that converts string to object. So I'll just apply it here only. That is json.parse. This is the function which converts string to object. json.stringify converts object to string, and json.parse converts string to objects. So that's all. So this thing will give me a string, will return a string. I'll parse it. Basically means I'll convert that string to object, and I'll store it in superheroes. And then after that, I'll take this thing, I'll push it, and again, I'll convert that array into a string. So instead of writing it this big, I can just copy this and write it directly here. So it will be completed in 3 lines. So now if you understand this, you'll see. What is the thing that I'm doing? Whatever is stored inside my superheroes local storage, whatever string of objects is stored, whatever string is stored, I'll get it. By using json.parse, I'll convert it into object and store it in superheroes. Right? So I get an object of superheroes now, the array of objects. I push a new superhero in that object, and I again convert it to a string and store it in local storage. These 3 lines, that's all. Is it clear? You get it? Change something inside, you get it as a string, convert it into an object, change something inside it, again convert it into a string and store it. Are we clear with these 3 lines? If not, I'll explain it again, because these 3 lines are the only important lines. Are we cleared with these 3 lines? Please tell me. Are we cleared? Are we cleared, everyone? Please tell me so that we can move ahead. Okay, Madhur, I'll explain once again. Don't worry. Everyone else, please tell me. Okay, Madhur, it's very simple, right? I already have a local storage named superheroes, which has stored my 3 array data, 3 objects data as a string. So now I want to, in the same array, I'm repeating, don't worry. Like I know I have a superheroes array that has been already converted to string stored in a local storage named superheroes. Perfect. This is first thing. Now, what this line does is, now what I want to do while adding superhero is in the same object that is stored in the local storage, in the same array actually, in the same array that is stored in the local storage, right? What I want to do, I want to store a new object in that array. I want to store a new superhero in that object. So what I have to do, I have to first fetch all the superheroes that are already present in superhero object, that are already present in superhero local storage. I'm fetching them and they come as a string. So I parse it to convert them as an object so that I can use this functionality, push and everything, right? Because on a string I cannot use push. So I parse it and convert it into array again. So in the superheroes, I get that array. Then I push the new superhero in that array, and then I again convert my superheroes into a string and store it there. So I get them, make changes, and store them again. Is this clear? Now is this cleared, Madhur? Jagruti, is it cleared now? Madhur, Jagruti, is it cleared? Please tell me, I'm waiting for your answers. Jagruti, is it clear now? Okay, perfect. And here it is, display superhero. This is totally fine. Displaying is totally fine because it is a new superhero as well. So display is totally fine. We can see what we can do with display. And now same for delete. Same for delete. Here also. Same for this. So again, what we're going to do, I'm going to copy this thing. Copy this same 3 lines. And that's why we cannot use a function because changing is different. So double push used. Where double push? Oh, I'm so sorry. Comment this. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, now in delete, same thing. First, I have to fetch my superheroes, right? Fetch superheroes, work on them, and update the local storage. That's all. Simple. Again, fetching them, deleting one superhero from it, and display, and then again changes on the existing superheroes function. Is it clear? Same thing. You always have to do this thing. First, get the superheroes, convert into object, make changes. So will this not pass understand the original element? Yes, it will understand. It converts arrays to arrays, it converts object to object. That's totally fine. Getting my concept here. Fetch the elements, add, delete or update, again set it to the local storage. Is this fine? Are we cleared? Are we cleared, everyone? Same thing. Get everything from the local storage, convert into object, delete the element you want to delete, display them, and store it in the local storage. Is it clear? So that for the next operation, the changes are already permanent. And same for the update. Same, exactly same. First, fetch them. First, what you have to do? Fetch. The first line is fetch it from the local storage. After updating, after displaying everything. Oh, I'm sorry, it was the copy, right? In fact, the copy has to do the same actually. But in copy, actually, I just have to fetch. I don't have to update the local storage again. Yes, right? In copy, I just have to fetch. I don't have to update the thing because I'm just gonna show it in the text box. So that's all. This fetching is fine there because I'm not updating. In update superhero, same thing. I'm gonna fetch. Sorry, this is not the fetching code. I'm gonna fetch. After doing everything, after performing an update and displaying the superhero, I'm gonna update. That's it. That's it. And let's, for the confusion, because there are a lot of superheroes now, let's just change the name of this. I'm just going to change it to initial superheroes because there are a lot of superheroes inside my functions, right? Let's change it to initial superheroes so that there's no conflict. And that's all. If you want, you can just remove this thing and just make it in one line. Instead of storing it in variable, do it directly here and remove this one line. That's okay. Is it clear? Now you can see for every function, for adding, same thing. Fetch the superheroes, do whatever changes you want. I'm pushing actually and set it to again local storage, right? Same thing for this. Delete. Fetch the superheroes, perform the delete operation on the object that you have fetched, update in the local storage. And for copying, I'm just fetching and showing because in copy I don't want to update anything. It's just fetch and copy. And for updating, fetch, form the update, and update the local storage. Is this clear? We haven't checked the output even once. This is just all our mind. And you have to read your code one by one. Remember this. You have to read your read your code line by line. Is it clear? Can we check the output now? Okay, there is one problem. On line 24, what is the problem? Oh, there's one bracket missing here. That's all. Let's see. Oh, so where is not defined? Where in display? Where it is not defined, huh? And for the first time, okay. Okay, for the first time, superheroes are not defined. This is the problem. For the first time, superheroes are not defined. So I have to change my display function as well. Right? So I'll teach my display function to always get data from local storage and display. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to teach my display function to not take any parameter and always fetch data from. Yes, I remember that. So I'm actually going to change my display function too. So what I'm going to teach him, I'm going to teach my display function to always get data from local storage, not from any function. Always get data from the local storage, right? And display that only. No parameter. Don't take parameters from anywhere. That's all. So it doesn't require any parameter now. Wherever you have called display, you don't have to pass anything now. Just pass it after the update of local storage. Remember this. Okay, in search, I'll have to pass. Oh shit, this is a problem. Okay, we have to work on the search functionality again. We'll see that. Don't worry about it. We'll see that. We have to create a display, like different display for search functionality. We'll do that. Don't worry about it. Make your displays after storing the local storage, after updating the local storage. Remove all the parameters. It's just getting data from local storage and displaying them. Only the search will not work for now, and let's see what we can do to solve it. Now my display function knows that I always have to get data from local storage directly. I'm not depending on any function like add superhero or delete superhero to get my new data, right? Yes, you can do it without load all, not a problem. I just prefer anything that I want to do initially, I just create a kind of a constructor. I create a kind of on load to perform so that it's not a problem for you. So see, now I'm fetching my data. And now it's permanent. Want to see it? Let's add a new superhero. Let's add Hulk. Age 36, planet Earth, height 8.2, add. See now? Let's refresh. It's permanent. Are we cleared? Are we cleared? Ashish is just a like personal preference. You can use onload, or but I just want like whatever initial things I do, I just make it an onload. That's totally fine if you don't use it. It's just a function that is called every time your page is loaded. That's all. Are we cleared? Let's check the delete. Let's check the delete. Let's delete Captain America. See, refresh, permanent storage. Let's update Iron Man. Let's update its age. So update Iron Man's age to 37. Update 37. Refresh. Updated. Is it clear? Is it clear, everyone? The search will also work. Let's work on it. The search only has one problem because searching is depending. Is there any more topic today? Yes, the last thing we want to that solve the problem. Yeah, that's what I'm doing, right? Like display is getting called by default. Yeah, I understood you. But if you see, Ashish, display is actually getting called by default. See, display is actually getting called by default, right? So you don't have to perform anything. We still have one more thing. We still have one more thing. Wait for 5 minutes. We still have one more thing. The search functionality is still a problem for us, right? The search functionality is still a problem because it depends on the new data. So listen, whenever we are searching, we cannot update the local storage because search is only for temporary purpose. We cannot update our local storage. So we cannot do this for search. So for search only, we have to manipulate our display function, or we can just create a new display function, right? So we can, what I can do is this display is for, like we can say, for the permanent display. And let's do one thing just for searching purpose, just for searching purpose. Should we do with local storage actually? Let me think. No, we should not actually make a search and storage. We actually don't need a storage for search, right? We want to clear it on refresh, right? Funny. We want to clear our searches on refresh. That's why we don't have to make a search and storage. What we can do is, should we use local storage? No, we can fetch actually data from local storage for the superheroes actually, and then okay, one more idea. Into the same display function. Let's create also a super array here, right? Let's just log it, console.log. Let's see what is coming in super array. I don't pass anything, so let's just log super array. I'm just checking. I'm gonna show you. Let's see what are the options. Like there are a lot of things that we can do, but let's just see what is happening here. Okay, it gives me undefined if there is no data, right? It's perfectly fine. Now what we can do is we go here if super array is undefined. That means it's not getting from parameter. I take this. Put outside. Else, if it is not undefined, superheroes is basically super array, and that's all. Now you can call display function as well, and give it a by default value as undefined. So if it is a default parameter, we learned it in the first lecture, right? If we pass a default parameter, so if you don't pass parameter, it is by default undefined. But if you pass, so now see, in any other place, I'm not passing any parameter. So by default, superhero will be undefined. And if superhero is undefined, if super array is undefined, take superheroes from local storage. But if it is not undefined, the thing that I'm passing should be my superheroes. So while searching, yes, it's a browser. So while searching, I'm passing this new data, right? So while searching, I'm passing a parameter. So at that time, it will not take from local storage. It will take from my new data. Is that clear? Are we clear? And we also want the superhero, right? Yeah. From the local storage for the first time, right? Is it clear? So now display function works as two. Display function, if we don't pass any parameters, it will fetch from local storage and view it, right? But if we start searching, it will pass the new data that I'm getting from local storage and making it a search, making a filter and passing it. So if you pass this new data will be displayed. Is this clear? Are we clear on this? Everyone, are we clear on this? Easy. It was easy, right? It was easy. It was. You just have to think like there are thousands of like not thousands, but there are plenty of solutions that you can perform here. But this was, I thought, was easy. Like I can use the same display function for my search. So if I'm passing something in a display function, that means I'm trying to perform a search operation. In that case, take that super array as my superheroes. But if I'm not passing anything, that basically my super array is undefined. Then in that time, take everything from local storage and display it. Is that clear? I don't see an answer from Rahul here. Are you there, Rahul? Rahul, Riya, there are no. Okay, that's totally fine. Not a problem. Let's see if it is working. The search is good. Okay, search works. Perfect. Let's see if addition is still working. Let's add back window. Page 32. Planet Earth. Height 5.6 maybe. Add. Perfect. Search still works. Yes, it still works. Delete works. Yes. Update works. Hulk is. What is the spelling of professor? Professor Hulk. Update. Works everything. Refresh the page. Totally fine. Close the window. Close this tab. Are we clear with everything? So you know local storage and you can use it in your style. I like Marvel. I'm not a Marvel guy, but I like Marvel. I like DC too. We don't have to start any debate here. It's totally fine. No, not at all. You can work with JavaScript. There's no need to learn jQuery to learn React. If you know JavaScript, you already know how to use jQuery. It's just calling of functions. jQuery is nothing but calling of functions in a chain method. So I hope you people like the project completely. Got to learn something new, something big. Understood the actual. I'll give assignment. Don't worry, it will be posted on the community. All these files and the assignment will be available in like next 1 hour or 1.5 hour on the community. You can get it there. Don't worry about it. And you can also post your code and questions there. I'll see and answer them. Yes, I'm gonna give you a project. Yes, I'm gonna give you a very nice and complex assignment for sure. So let me hear in the chat. Do you like? Did you people enjoy it? Got to learn? We did it right, Ashish? In the start today, we understood events, right? We understood the event object. For the like next events, we are gonna see in the next lecture the new events. Like we have only seen on click now, on click and key up. I'm also gonna show you a few new events on mouse. We also got to know that right on mouse down and mouse up in the show password feature. Yeah, we can't cover all the events, Ashish, but we can like cover a lot of things. So you can learn. We cannot cover everything, Ashish. We cannot cover all the events, but we can cover like 10 to like maximum 10 events. We have already covered 4 to 5 on click, on mouse up, on mouse down, and a lot of them are actually self-explanatory. Yes, I'm gonna show you. Yes, in the next weekend on the lecture, I'm gonna work with Ajax, promises, and async await. So we actually covered a lot of JavaScript topics. We actually covered. So do we have any doubts? Thank you, Rajiv. Do we have any doubts coming now? Any kind of doubts? We have any doubts? Okay, Lambodar. Perfect. We'll do that. No, Gitika, it's not at all difficult. Don't worry. It is not at all difficult, Ajax. We'll solve it very simply. Not a problem. Not a problem at all. Thank you, Gitika. Thank you so much. So, guys, do we have any doubts? Anything? Or are we clear for today? Ajax is in JS, Lambodar. Even jQuery is in JS. jQuery is just a library of JavaScript. So whatever is in jQuery, it's in JS. Yes, I'm going to show you that different thing, how to call events. Not a problem in the next lecture. That is not mandatory. It's just a thing that you should know if important. Not a problem, Siley. I'll show you add event listener in the next lecture. Don't worry. We covered almost all the fundamentals, funny. But if you just go on and explore, there are a lot of string functions and math functions you can see. Funny. You can also see that. Because the new topic that are promises and destructuring, I'm going to cover in the next 2 lectures. Yeah, today's code will be uploaded, Pradumna. Not a problem. You'll find all the code, all the files, and today's assignment on the community. You can just go on and download it from there. Okay, so can we cut it for today? Meet you on the next Saturday then. Try to learn a little of HTML and CSS so that I can create a lot of designs. Thank you so much, Fani. Thank you so much. I'm glad that you enjoyed everything. Yeah. Have a good day, all. Have a good day. Yeah, Shoaib sir, can we close it now?
Yes, sir. We'll close it. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.